everybody. I'm Sean Hammond with PremierGuitar.com. We're at the Carvin booth on day one of NAMM 2011 with Richard Cruz. Richard, how's it going?
Good.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you guys.
So you guys have a really busy booth over here, and a lot of that is obviously because of what we're standing by over here. We have several new guitars and new features on new guitars, right?
That's right.
Lead us through those.
This show, we're actually debuting a couple of new models. In my hands here is the TLB60. This is our bolt-on neck single cutaway guitar. Features a new series of pickups that we designed specifically for this guitar. And the one on the wall actually has our new vintage style tremolo bridge that we're also introducing, not only on this model, but we're also offering it on other models as well. And this guitar comes standard with our new SB Style Headstock, which was originally debuted on the SB 4000 and 5000 basses a couple of years ago. And just due to a demand from the customers, you know, they want to get another variety of headstocks. So this headstock comes standard on this model, but Carvin's a custom shop, and you know, you can mix and match a variety of options. So this could be ordered on pretty much any guitar.
Okay, so Richard, when a lot of people see pickups with covers like that, they think active pickups. Are these active?
These are not active. These are actually passive pickups. These pickups are based on an older design that we had years ago. The difference being is that we've played with the actual magnets and the windings, and these are more of a vintage El Nico magnet on these pickups. And what we basically did was we brought in a lot of vintage instruments to test against these, and what we were looking for is something that had the sweet tone of a vintage instrument, but also had more of a full and balanced output without losing any highs or lows or getting muddiness in them. And personally, I mean, you know, I brought a lot of my vintage instruments into the factory for them to A/B against, and hands down, I would pick these over any valuable vintage instrument that I own. I prefer to play this. It sounds that much better.
Cool. So are they Alnico 3 or 5 or?
They're Alnico 5 magnet. And we've experimented a lot with a lot of different magnets and metal bars and so forth in the actual pickups. And we're still working on finalizing the final pickup, but these are probably the last prototypes that we developed in time for the show. And this model is actually now available to purchase on the website. Just go to Carvin.com and you can actually custom build one on the website, selecting from the bodywood, the top, the pick guard, pickups, string gauge, the neck radius, your headstock overlay, headstock shape, color of your hardware. You know, it's just endless of what you can get. One of the other things that we've been doing on a lot of our instruments now is designing a more ergonomic cutaway for the heel on the bolt-on necks on both guitars and basses. So when you're playing, you're really not inhibited as much with that curve there. Yeah, your palm really comfortably rests right in that pocket there, so you're not feeling inhibited, and you have access all the way up past the 12th fret.
Cool. Let me ask you one more thing about the electronics before we move on to the other guitars. Now, you've got a standard 5-way selector switch, it looks like, but then there's a mini toggle, right?
Yes, there's a mini toggle. Again, being a custom shop, we can mix and match things. We can actually, if you were to order a bridge humbucker on this model, that mini switch could become a coil tap, so you could actually split the bridge into a coil tap. What comes standard on this, though, is that you're actually able to switch and have your neck and bridge pickup on at the same time, or you switch it off, so where you have it discrete with 3 different pickups only on individually.
Very cool. All right, so what else do we have new in the line?
We also have a new version to our California Carve Top series. This is the CT624. This guitar is a 24 fret version of our California Carve Top. It's all mahogany body, comes with a figured maple top. This one actually features a quilted maple top. And taking a look at a sample like this, you'd think, you know, well, this guitar is probably, you know, beyond my price range. You know, these guitars literally would compare to other brands, you know, costing in the $4,000 range and up. A lot of other companies would choose a piece of wood like this and call it a private stock, where this is not average, but what we're trying to do is offer this type of quality to all of our customers. And what a lot of our customers do is come to us because they know that they're able to get this type of figured wood, and they're not paying $4,000 for the guitar. And we're just very picky about the wood that we use, and we are very selective where we buy our wood and how we buy our wood. Been a lot of issues in the past with companies not really giving you what you're paying for, and we're not about that. We're dealing directly with the public, so there's no way for us to hide when we're not giving them the best. So we strive to do that. We're offering a few things that maybe some people aren't aware of that we've been doing for a number of years. Every single Carvin custom shop guitar comes with a snag microchip. It's an RFID chip, and it is included with the purchase of your guitar. And what that does is that it's registered with a company called Snag. This website is snag.com. And what that does is it gives you protection from theft. So if your instrument was stolen and somebody tried to pawn it, as long as you reported your instrument stolen to Snag, Snag notifies every pawn shop, the police department, etc. And if someone tries to sell your guitar at a pawn shop, the pawn shop will detect that because the RFID chip has it registered in your name and your address, and your guitar will be recovered. And we've had a number of instances of this happening. And customers are always grateful that they've taken a very personal approach on ordering their instruments to their custom specifications, and to rebuild that would be a lot of emotional stress for people. So they're able to actually recover their instruments when they're stolen.
Very cool. Now, before we wrap this up, you were telling us that you don't have it here at the booth yet. It'll be here tomorrow. But your V3M head, you've shrunk.
The V3 is an all-tube 3-channel amp that we've had for a few years now, and we are debuting at the show a micro version of the V3. It's called the V3M for micro, and it is the same 3 channels on the full-size V3 head. It will have a head version, which is almost half the size of the original V3 head, and it will also come in a single 12 combo. The nice thing about this amp is not just from its compact size, but it has switchable power, so you can run it at 50 watts, so you could actually drive a full 412 half stack. You can switch it down to 22 watts, or you can switch it to 7 watts. And the beauty of this is that it will have a number of features, such as a gig bag. It will have a rack mount bracket, so you can actually rack mount this head. The single 12 is actually the same size as our well-known Vintage 16, which is a single 12 vintage amp, and the V3 is just a tiny bit taller than that. So you're actually going to have a really tight, compacted, fully featured 3-channel all-tube amp. It's fully foot switchable. The micro version of the V3 will come with a digital reverb, will come with a foot that is foot switchable, master volume, a foot switchable boost, an effects loop, and a lot of micro amps on the market today have skimped on some of the full features in favor of the smaller size, and we just decided that our micro amp is not going to, we're not going to give up any of the key features that a lot of people really wanted. We wanted to give them the effects loop. We wanted the master boost. We wanted the master volume. We wanted all 3 channels to mimic the full-size V3, and we wanted it all tube, and we're doing it.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for telling us about the new guitar stuff you guys have going on.
Great, thanks for coming by.
Yeah, where can people go to find out more about all of these things and more?
We have Carvin.com, the website, which has all of our products for sale to the U.S. market. If you're overseas watching this, we have CarvinWorld.com, and that will not only show you the products, but also give you a list of all of our dealers internationally. And we also have a third website called CarvinChannel.com, where we have a lot of our gear demo videos and audio that people can check out.
Cool. Thanks, Richard.
Great, thank you.
Have a good show. I'm Sean Hammond, and you're watching PremierGuitar.com.